Good afternoon. This is video journal number 10. A few questions. First question. Is it mandatory to register your copyright? No, it's not mandatory that you register your copyright. You don't need to register your work. The only time it needs to be registered is if you want to sue or need to sue someone who has infringed upon your work. Then it needs to be registered in order for you to be able to obtain full judgment, full damages, as well as attorney fees from the court. Other than that, no, your work does not have to be registered. Question number 2. Why would you register your copyright? It kind of goes in from question 1. But the first thing is registration informs the world that you own this piece of work. This piece of work belongs to you. And there are a couple of more reasons you should register your copyright. Registering your work gives you exclusive rights to reproduce or copy that piece of work because you own it. Also, only you can perform the work or display it in public. Everyone else would have to then get your permission if they want to do the same. And of course, you would be able to charge them a fee, a licensing fee in order to do that. You're the only person who can distribute your work for commercial purposes, which is always good. And a lot of this, of course, is financial gain. And then as we talked about in question 1, just touched upon, you can sue someone for copyright infringement if your work is registered. And you'll get a court order from a judge to stop somebody from using your work out there. And then if you're successful on that judgment, and if you're successful and win a case against an infringer, then you'll be entitled to money damages, even if you can't prove how much money that you lost due to the infringement. The infringer will still have to pay you damages, and they'll also have to pay for your lawyer as well. So, those are some reasons that you will want to make sure that your work is registered, your copyright work is registered. Question number 3. How do you find out if a work is in public domain? And what are the 2 points that would put a work in the public domain? First off, the public domain consists of the things that exist in nature, or the public domain exists when a copyright has expired. So I think those would be the 2 points that would put a work in the public domain. The public domain, is going to be anything that exists in nature, and then the copyright has expired. So how do you find out if a work is in the public domain? Of course, things in nature, are not copyrightable, and of course is automatically in the public domain. So you can just kind of automatically know that part. And then anything published before 1923 is in the public domain because that's everything that would have been expired by now. Works that are created by the federal government are public domain. Usually works that are in the public domain have fallen into that category due to the copyright expiring, or someone working for the government and then the government taking ownership of that work due to the contract or relationship that individual may have had with the government. Also, copywritten work, whether it is sole or joint authorship, is 70 years after the death of the last author. So it does last that long. So the last author of a copywritten work, once that person dies, then it's still copyrighted up to 70 years after them passing away. And then after that 70 years, it does go into the public domain. And then also individuals can choose to give their protected work to the public as long as the author designates it and it's considered public domain. And there are databases you can search and find out what's in the public domain. Now, how do you find out if permission was given for a work to be in the public domain? Well, you can go to the website copyright.gov and do the search records, and you can search a title of the work. You can search the author of work. You can search all of the author's works or registration numbers and any information that you have that it can search a piece of work. At copyright.gov, you can go in there, search the database, and it should give you the information if permission has been given for this work to be in the public domain. Or you could go a step farther and you could hire an attorney to search the public domain for you, Or you could pay the U.S. Copyright Office an hourly fee, of course, and they would search the records for you and make sure that you knew who gave permission for a work to be in the public domain. And you can research and see if an author states their intentions to donate their work to the public domain. So the key is just finding out, doing some research, and seeing who has donated their work to the public domain. The next question is, should you put the C on your copyrighted work? And will putting the C on a copyrighted work allow you to collect damages in court? Now, at one time in history, the C was needed on your copyrighted work to ensure that all potential infringers, number one, know about your copyrighted material. But right now, putting a C on your copyrighted work will not necessarily allow you to collect damages. And the other part of that question is you don't have to necessarily put a C on your copyrighted work, although at one time they did. But putting a C on your copyrighted work will not necessarily allow you to collect damages in court. You know, if your work is copyrighted but not registered and you sue, you will have to prove your damages, how you were damaged exactly. Whereas if your work is registered, then you may not know what your damages are, and you will still be entitled to damages that the court will award you. So what's important is having your copyrighted work registered. As long as your work, is registered and you have a successful case in court, then that court will, give and make a judgment and ruling that you receive all damages due to you. And not only the damages due to you, but you will also receive your attorney fees. So just having the C on the copyrighted work, won't allow you to collect damages. It must really be registered in order for you to receive the full amount of damages. And that concludes video journal number 10. Thank you for listening.